The car market is rapidly shifting, which means that we may finally have some great news to talk about. Because as you all know, the car market has seen some massive increases in the last 2 years. And for the better part of 2022, we have all, including myself, been anticipating the bursting of the used car market bubble. And though the used car market bubble certainly hasn't bursted yet, it is in the process of bursting, and this has definitely been the case in the last 30 days. But to really paint this full picture, let's dig into the actual data. Let's first take a look at the Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index. You can see here that we have seen some pretty steady declines in the last 9 months, but a pretty significant decline has occurred in the last 30 days. This is even more obvious if we take a look at the chart view of this data. You can actually see that we have seen the single largest 1-month decline in an extremely long time, which is huge, and it really shows where the used car market is trending. And though seasonally adjusted prices are higher year over year, the data is trending downward month over month. The Used Vehicle Value Index is down in August. New vehicle sales hit 1.14 million in the month of August. Used sales have actually seen a decline and currently sit at 3.1 million units. And the full year forecast is down as well. But unfortunately, the average used listing price, the average new listing price, and the average transaction price are all still up, which honestly isn't that surprising given the fact that it's going to take a long time for vehicle sellers to realize that they're not going to be able to price their car at absurdly high prices any longer. We also have some good news when we head over to the CarGurus Car Value Index, which shows a decline across the board with the exception of a few makes and models, including Jeep, Mini, and Mazda, and some higher-end options like Lamborghini, Porsche, and Rolls-Royce. Even Toyota, which has been appreciating in recent months, has started to finally level off. Do you guys remember back in January and February, whenever I would go over this data, and virtually every single make and model was seeing appreciation month over month? Whereas now, whenever we look at it, almost every single make and model is seeing depreciation. And it sure is refreshing to see this shift. So in summary, we saw a 4% decrease this month across used car prices. And this is the lowest that we've seen since last September. Now, let me repeat that for emphasis. This is the lowest that we've seen since last September, so almost exactly a year ago. Inventory is increasing, used car sales are decreasing, which is of course an indicator that demand is decreasing as a whole. And all of this means that there's more negotiating power and thus lower prices. In fact, if we take a look at third-party selling websites, you'll find that a number of sellers are beginning to lower the price of their vehicles that they have for sale. And this is becoming increasingly more and more common across a wide variety of different types of cars, different makes, different models, and different price points. In fact, let's take a look at this 2017 Toyota Tundra, which is listed in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma for $29,500. This is a pretty clean Tundra. You can see here from the photo. And you can also see it has pretty clean cloth interior, and it's listed at 125,000 miles, 3 owners. Now, if we scroll down from here, you can see the different price trends for this car. It was originally listed for $31,000 and it's currently listed at $29,500. You can see the price history here that they started off at $31,000 in July. They then lowered it at the end of July. They then lowered it again at the beginning of August, and now as we sit in September, they've lowered it once again to $29,500. And the fact that as I'm sitting here recording this video, it is nearing the middle of September and they still haven't sold it, I wouldn't be surprised if they lower it again. It's currently been on the market for 53 days. Let's take a look at a 2019 Tesla Model 3. Again, this is a super clean Tesla, white interior. It looks in very good condition. It's listed for $51,938, and this one is located in Arkansas, and it has 46,000 miles. Now, this one is a bit weird because of the fact that the car is actually listed for $49,998, but they're applying a $1,900 delivery fee, which is where the $51,938 price point comes from for this car. If you scroll down, you can see here that the car has been on the market for 42 days. It was originally listed for $52,998, and as we sit here today, it's sitting at $49,998. Now, this one I think is particularly interesting because of the fact that over the last year, Teslas have been sold for insanely high prices. There's been a lot of demand for Teslas, and because of that, they've been able to sell even third party with more miles for really high prices. And the fact that this one right here has been on the market for 42 days, it hasn't sold yet, and it's gone through a number of different price drops, I think that's an incredibly positive sign. It means that the market isn't just shifting for normal everyday cars, but also for these cars that are considered to be high demand vehicles. Next, let's take a look at this 2016 Toyota 4Runner, which is a SR5 premium model. It's located in Newark, New Jersey, and it's listed for $25,885. This car has 103,000 miles, and you can see here that it has been on the market for 254 days. It was originally listed for $30,998, and it's currently listed for $25,885. You can see that it has gone through a number of different price drops this year, and as we see here today, it's sitting at just over $25K. Another great example is the Ford Maverick, which is a relatively newly released vehicle, and it's one that has been in high demand over the last year. For example, this 2022 Ford Maverick XL Super Crew all-wheel drive, which is listed for $33,197, and it's located in Kennewick, Washington. This car just has 1,400 miles on it, so it is basically brand new. You can see that it was originally listed in July and has seen a number of price drops since then. And last but certainly not least, I want to take a look at one of the hottest cars of the last 2 years, and that is a Chevy C8 Corvette. This is a 2023 Chevy Corvette Stingray 3LT Coupe rear-wheel drive listed for $107,800. This car has 488 miles, so it is basically brand new. It's been on the market for 27 days. It was originally listed for $108,800, and it's currently sitting at $107,800. You can see that it was listed mid-August, and then it had a price drop at the end of August. Now, on the surface, this may not seem like a big deal, but this Corvette C8 is a type of car that a year ago would have been going for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 above MSRP. So the fact that this car is being listed and it isn't selling overnight is a big deal. And not only the fact that it isn't selling overnight, but it's actually going to have to go through price drops in order to be sold. This means that the market is shifting. People are not selling their cars as easily and as for as high as a price as they once were, and that is great news. Now again, these are just a handful of examples that I chose for the sake of this video, but I did look through dozens and dozens of listings, and I am noticing this exact same thing with a variety of different makes, models, price points, and different areas throughout the country. All in all, this is a great sign. Now, this is great news. We've all been watching the car market closely this year, and this change is probably the most significant change we've seen since prices rose nearly a year and a half, 2 years ago. I've been saying for a long time that it wasn't a matter of if prices were going to fall, it was simply a matter of when. And it seems as though that when is finally starting to gain traction. But there are still a few things that you should be keeping in mind as you continue to navigate this used car market. First and foremost, I wouldn't run to buy a car today. Prices will still continue to fall, and though prices aren't going to return to 2019 levels anytime soon, if ever, that doesn't mean that prices aren't going to drop significantly more in the coming months. If you can wait until the end of the year, if not a little bit longer, to buy yourself a car, I would recommend waiting. But if you're somebody who's looking to either sell your car or trade your car in, this is where the equation can get a little bit tricky. The best time to sell a car has passed. And ideally, if you wanted to sell your car, you probably should have done so 6 months ago. But of course, time machines don't exist, so you can't go into the past and go back and sell your car at the perfect time. So what do you do if you're somebody who's sitting here today in September of 2022 and you're wondering what to do if you're somebody that wants to trade in or sell or replace your current vehicle? Now, in an ideal world, if you could sell your car today where prices are going to be higher than they will any point in the near future, then I would recommend doing that and then not looking to replace that car for at least a few months. But I also acknowledge that that isn't realistic for everyone because people need a car. So you could look to sell your car today, and of course you would get a higher price for that vehicle because of current market conditions. But you would of course also have to buy a replacement for that vehicle, and in turn you would have to pay a higher price for that replacement car as well. This is where you are going to have to do your due diligence to figure out which is the best path for you. Because in this situation, there is a chance that you would be leaving money on the table by either selling and buying today or selling and buying in 6 months. So I would figure out, number one, what is your current car worth? How much can you expect to sell that car, either private party or through a trade-in? Not only should you figure out how much that car is selling for today, but you should also figure out where that car is trending. That way you can have a realistic expectation of what you could sell that car for in the future as well. But on the flip side of the coin, you should also do research to figure out what you should expect to pay for the car that you're going to replace your current car with. Figure out the exact type of car you want, the trim that you want, the mileage that you should expect, the year model, and of course, figure out how much you should pay for that. And from there, you need to make the decision, are you better off buying and selling today or buying and selling in 6 months? This will be highly dependent on your personal situation as well as the car that you're looking to buy and sell. But with some research, it should be a relatively straightforward answer to figure out. And if I was somebody that was looking to buy and sell a car today, that's exactly what I would do. And this brings me to my final tip, which is cars are depreciating at different rates, and it's important to keep that in mind as you're doing your own research for a car. For example, Chevy has been consistently falling for the last 6 months, while Toyota has been consistently increasing up until very recently. Even certain styles of vehicles have been depreciating at different rates. For example, recently hatchbacks have been appreciating, while trucks and vans have been depreciating. Most experts believe that within the next 6 to 9 months, the car market is going to continue depreciating, and we could see a decrease of between 10 and 20%, if not more. But that decrease isn't going to be evenly spread out across every single make and model, and certain cars will depreciate at a different rate. And depending on your budget for a used car, this could make a big difference in the affordability of your next vehicle. All in all though, this is super exciting. I've been waiting for this moment for what feels like ages, and it seems as though the market is finally beginning to turn in a real noticeable way. As somebody who is constantly looking to buy new cars for my car sharing fleet, I'm looking at cars nearly every single day myself, and I am even noticing more and more cars sitting on marketplaces for longer, seeing price decreases, and seeing sellers more willing to negotiate than ever before. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, I don't think that car prices are going to return to pre-pandemic levels, but seeing a 10 to 20% decrease, which is very likely, is something that is really going to help the average car buyer. And I'm extremely excited to see what happens between now and the end of the year. Like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.